What's up, guys? What's going on? This is Mr. Gold, and today I am going to be presenting my 2021, I guess it would be, Pro Bowl hits and misses of this year's Pro Bowl. So let's just get on into the video. And we're back. Hope you guys liked that intro. But anyways, we're just going to get right on into this. So basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through all the players selected to the Pro Bowl, obviously by conference. And I'm going to be saying if I like their selection into it or if I don't. And if I don't, I will give a player that I think should have gotten in instead. So first up, AFC, of course. And number one, their starter at the quarterback position is, of course, Patrick Mahomes. There's literally nothing you could say about this. He leads the AFC in passing yards by 300 yards currently. He has 36 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions. He has an 83.4 QBR. There's just nothing you could do. This dude is quite probably going to win the MVP this season. Definitely deserves to be there. Josh Allen, pretty much same deal. He's actually in the MVP race this year. Surprisingly, he is ranked 3rd in yards in the AFC with an even 4,000, but he also has, let's see here, he has 30 touchdowns, it looks like, so, and to only 9 picks, so not too bad there for Josh Allen. He looks pretty good, and obviously he's been playing at top level, and he's definitely deserves to be there. And then Watson also. And there is a lot of controversy because there's only 3 QB spots, and there's a lot of other QBs that could easily be in that 3 spot. But I don't think you can put anyone there other than Deshaun Watson. So, however, guys like Justin Herbert, Ryan Tannehill, Carr, Roethlisberger, Rivers, they all played well this season. You can't take him out. No, Tannehill probably deserved it the most, other than Watson, but yeah, you got to put Watson in there. He has 4,134 passing yards, 8.8 yards per attempt, only 6 interceptions. He has, let's see here, 27 touchdowns, and he's on an absolutely horrible Texans team. So for him to be able to do that is really incredible. So I definitely think he should be there, even though Ryan Tannehill probably deserved it as well. And then we will move on to the running back category, with obviously their number one being Derrick Henry, and I have no real thing to say about that. I mean, that is just same thing as Patrick Mahomes. There's no one else you could put there. It has to be Derrick Henry because he's just played that dominantly this season. So I definitely do. I do agree with that selection. And then number 2, Nick Chubb. Yeah, I don't really think you can put anyone else there at that number 2. Nick Chubb definitely, for sure, deserves to be there. That's one thing that's for sure. He definitely deserves to be there, and had a really good season here with the Browns. And that is also with sharing touches with Kareem Hunt. So he has definitely done a really good job there. And the Browns have definitely been a contender that no one really expected this season. So he's done very good there. And then the number 3 spot, which is obviously the most contested for pretty much all these positions. I don't like this pick at all, no. So, basically, here's your deal. Josh Jacobs. That is not the guy I would have picked at all. Jacobs is nowhere near to the level of some of these other players that are here, like James Robinson, obviously being the number 1 there. I mean, James Robinson is really good this season, and he's already over 1,000 yards as a rookie. And to not give him the Pro Bowl on a really bad Jacksonville team. The Jacksonville team that currently has the number 1 overall pick because they only have 1 win. You're not going to put James Robinson there. I do not understand that. Also, Jonathan Taylor also played very well this season. Really having pretty much almost matching stats with Jacobs. It wasn't even that different, but James Robinson was on a whole nother level And it appears that while I'm looking at the stats here, the only reason they picked Jacobs is because he had more touchdowns. But with him having 100 more yards, Robinson did. Let's see here, better averages, just stuff like that. It doesn't quite make sense. Also, Robinson averaging more yards per game, and yeah, just does not quite make sense for them to put Jacobs ahead of Robinson. So I would take out Jacobs, and I would place Robinson in there if I could. So, and then we've got wide receiver, and two starters are going to be Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs. I don't really have a problem with that. I think they both probably deserve to be in there. I mean, Tyreek Hill, obviously, he has Patrick Mahomes as his QB, which obviously is going to boost his stats by a ton. And he's definitely done a good job this year with, let me see here, looks like he has, let's see if I can pull it up. I have mildly slow internet, so it's not pulling up very fast. He currently has 1,211 yards this season. So yeah, that definitely probably gets him a spot in there pretty easily. I wouldn't see any reason why he wouldn't be in there. So that definitely makes sense. Next one is Stephon Diggs. He actually has more yards than Hill does with 100, almost exactly, has 103 more yards with 1,314. Again, he had another Pro Bowl QB as his quarterback. He had Josh Allen, so obviously he really did prove the point that he just needed a other quarterback than Kirk Cousins to really start showing up. So he's definitely done a good job of that. And then with the number 3 is Keenan Allen. Let's see here. They did pick, statistically, they picked the 3 guys with the most yards in the NFL currently for wide receiver. They did good. Cole Beasley is actually the next closest, so that should show you that Josh Allen's really throwing the ball around this season. And then I forgot about the 4, which is A.J. Brown. So yeah, really, the only guy I could see being like a miss here would be maybe Cole Beasley. I mean, because he's played pretty well, and he has 4 touchdowns this season, which obviously isn't a ton. Also, Corey Davis, he has 5 touchdowns and essentially the same yardage as Cole Beasley, just slightly less than 1,000, sorry. Will Fuller has played pretty well, but I mean, again, yeah, I don't really have a problem with any of these picks. I think that's essentially where they should be. Only move, I mean, Beasley and Davis are really close to A.J. Brown's level, but A.J. Brown had double the touchdowns and he had more touchdowns than those 2 combined, so it's just not really a huge question there. A.J. Brown definitely deserves to be there. Then we get over to tight end, and yeah, Travis Kelce, that's a no-brainer for number 1. He for sure deserves to be there, not a question. I mean, he has done stuff that no other tight end. He currently leads the NFL in receiving yards, if I'm correct. With less targets than guys like Diggs and Allen. He has 13.4 yards per attempt, which is really good. Only guy I can see in the top 10 that he is actually below would be Corey Davis and A.J. Brown, so he's definitely doing really good there. He has 10 touchdowns, which is second, I believe, to only Tyreek Hill, so that just shows you that Patrick Mahomes is really just throwing the ball around. But yeah, he's a no-brainer, number 1, and Waller is a no-brainer, number 2. There's not really anything that you could say about that. I mean, you look at the receiving yardage, right? Number 1 is Kelce, number 5 is Waller, and there is not another tight end in the AFC until Hunter Henry at number 25. So that should show you those 2 just performed out of all expectations there. So definitely doing really good. And the fact that they're Waller will be over 1,000 and Kelce's already over 1,000, so that's really good. Richard, yeah, he definitely deserves to be there. He does a great job at fullbacks, and when we look at the NFC fullbacks, which I don't know how long this AFC section will be, I may have to make an NFC part if this one gets really long, but as you can clearly see later on, both of these fullbacks were drafted and kind of trained up by the Ravens, so, well, not drafted, Patrick Ricard, I believe, was, no, that's Jalen Richard, but anyways, Ravens fullback's been doing really good lately, so that's definitely good there. Good pick. Then we get on to linemen, and there is just not a ton I can really comment on about this. There's no real stats to compare. You have to be looking at film to do these, and I'd assume with NFL fans voting, they probably just voted names that they were like familiar with. Laramie Tunsil's pretty famous. Fisher's pretty famous. Quentin Nelson's pretty famous. David DeCastro's pretty famous. But one obviously notable miss that I do think they did was Garrett Bowles. Garrett Bowles has been really good for the Broncos. He is a dude that I have seen play several times this year, just whether I was in a restaurant watching him or stuff like that. He has definitely played a very good game of football this year, so he should probably be there. And then we will get on to, let's see here. Uh-oh. That could be a problem. So, on my stat chart, it does not have... Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had to pause really quickly. I did not have a stat chart that covered defensive position by position. I still cannot find one, so I guess let me know down in the comments if you can find one. I'm probably going to split this into 2 parts just so it's a bit shorter and easier to watch all at once. But I do know a few misses just from watching the NFL, and a few guys that just aren't, are not here that probably should be here. So, obviously, at defensive end, you got Garrett, Bosa, and Clark, and that's fairly good. There is several I would like to add, though. So, Trey Hendrickson played very well. In fact, he played better than this dude right here. No, not Cameron Hayward. He played better than Cameron Jordan, his teammate. Which I guess never mind. He's not on the Pro Bowl. I thought that was Jordan. But anyways, he had like 12.5 sacks, which I believe is just 1 sack less than T.J. Watt. That's pretty good. That is really good. That is easily Pro Bowl level play. I just realized this is the AFC and not the NFC. It's fine. I can't cut that part out, but it's fine. Trey Hendrickson, I'll talk about him later. DeForest Buckner, that's the dude. I believe he's a defensive tackle, I believe Buckner is, but if he's not, I would either substitute out Clark or substitute out Campbell, but either way, Buckner's really had just a great year, the best year of his career, like the number 3 ranked defensive lineman, I want to say, and that's easily got to get in here when you've got, count them, 6 defensive linemen. Number 3 should for sure be in here somewhere, so definitely that. T.J. Watt, no-brainer. Chubb's played really well this year, and Judon's pretty good, even playing under the franchise tag. So, and then obviously Leonard, he's just a tackling machine. He's done really well. Tremaine Edmonds, he's been a beast this year. Great. Xavier Howard has played amazingly. He's done his job. Tre'Davious White played pretty well. Humphrey played fairly well. Gilmore has played fairly well. But there is a missing player here, and he is also from the Patriots. It is J.C. Jackson. He's currently 2nd in the NFL in interceptions. I don't see him. I don't know where J.C. Jackson is, but when you're 2nd in the NFL in interceptions to this dude who is the starter at the cornerback, he should definitely be in here. So either kick out Humphrey or Gilmore and add in Jackson. I would probably take out Gilmore and put in Jackson. I know he just won Defensive Player of the Year last year, but Jackson just simply has played better, so... Minkah Fitzpatrick is a no-brainer, definitely belongs here. Simmons, he's played very well, very good game this year. Matthews just played good. And apparently they only include 1 strong safety, so that's a bit different. But Morgan Cox at long snapper, I guess that's a good pick. I don't know a ton about long snappers, but punter Jake Bailey, I know he's played very well, and the Patriots have had to punt a lot more this year. Justin Tucker is a no-brainer. I mean, Harrison Butker's also played very well, but Justin Tucker is a no-brainer. He's just the best kicker in the NFL, possibly in NFL history, second to only Adam Vinatieri. Andre Roberts has done really well, and obviously Matthew Slater. It would not be a Pro Bowl without having Matthew Slater. So, alrighty, well, I think that's going to end this part, and we'll see you in part 2. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.